Hasta antes que yo y volamos.
We do not own copyrights to the music.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to my mother's channel. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for tuning in for my mother's channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how time is of the essence for our generation. Well, my generation. I think it's super duper. I think it's super duper important for us to understand how important time is, because a lot of people who are older, they tend to waste time and not value time. And I feel like if you value time when you're young, you're going to understand how important it is and you're going to have a great future. So this is what I mean by not valuing time. You have people who have a good life. They're about to graduate college, they're about to graduate high school, they're entering college, and they decide, I don't want to do this now. You know, I have a lot of time on my hands. That's what they assume. They have a lot of time on their hand. And they say, I'm going to take a year off. When they take a year off, that year becomes 2 years. That 2 years become 3 years. That 3 years become a dead-end job, probably back at their parents' house, and not doing anything for themselves. But if they value time when they got out of high school, they would have said, you know what, I have no time to waste. Let me get it. Let me do this now. Let me get this done and out the way, so that later on, you know, I could help myself and have sufficient money coming in, and wouldn't have to rely on anybody and anything like that. Another thing that I think that is important is the importance of starving to stack. Once somebody has the mindset to starve to stack, there's no way they're gonna have a bad life in the future. Because if you're putting in the hard work now, if you're putting in the struggle, if you're going through the good fight, if you're doing everything, you're for sure gonna have a good life in the future. Like with myself, I know what I was doing as far as starving to stack. I know that I wanted a car when I'm in high school. I'm like, okay, I want a car. I want to get it, and I know things are not going to just be handed to me. My parents taught me if you want something, you have to work hard for it. You have to do what you have to do. Things just don't. We don't wake up with things. So I said, okay. So that's when I decided, you know what? I'm gonna get myself a job, still focusing on my school. I didn't make the car a priority. So my mother taught me education is the best thing, the number one thing I should always focus on. So as far as after education, after going to school, waking up in the morning and doing what I had to do, going to school, I had a after school job, just a little after school job. But I always made sure before I went to work, I had my homework done, I had everything done. So while I'm going to work, I saved my money. I didn't go buy, $300 hairs or $200 shoes, maybe $100 jacket. I didn't buy none of that. I decided those things, those material things, I don't need them right now. And they're always going to be here waiting for me. So I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and save my money. So I decided to save and save and save. And while I was saving, I've always had the support of my parents to say, good job. Oh, thank you so much. Like, you're making it easier on me because they don't have to give me anything. And they also always said to make sure that work doesn't get in your head. Because, they said I'm going to be making money and that might alter my thinking a little bit. So I always make sure, okay, don't make work a priority. Don't make work number one. Always focus on school. So as I was saving and saving and saving, I finally had enough money to get a car that I liked. And with the help of my parents, they would help me to get it. They were able to help. They were able to help me get the car because they have to be there for insurance and stuff like that because I'm not old enough yet. So that's what I mean when I say it is important to starve, to stack, to go through little obstacles so that maybe in the future, not maybe, in the future, you will have what you work hard for. And it is true what they say hard work does pay off. Now, I want to bring in my mother who might have a few things to say about the topic, but in a few minutes. Now, I want to talk about the boys in my generation. A vast majority of them really value material things. And that solely becomes their number one priority in life. As far as on the news, looking at life, I've seen people, boys specifically, in my generation die over the littlest, craziest things. One situation was over a shoe, and we all know what shoe I'm talking about, what brand I'm talking about. Another situation was over a gun. Another situation was over maybe a point .5 of marijuana. Another situation was over. It's just us continually to destroy ourselves because of material things. No one's focusing on the future. No one's focusing on school. Therefore, if you're not focusing on school and you're not focusing on, if you're not focusing on school, you're not focusing on the future, then what you're doing is practicing for failure. That's all you're doing. And I see that they're doing that a lot in my generation. And it's really, to be honest, disgusting because it's like if your mother went through it, if your father went through it, maybe most of them don't even know their father. But if people in your life went through it and they went through it, and now you want to go the same route they want to go, what inspires you to do that? What? Most of the times, the shoe comes out, you buy the shoe, you're making no money off of it. It's not benefiting you in any kind of way. Maybe a month or two, they're gonna start to look old. You're not gonna have it no more. You're gonna try to sell it, and when you sell that, you're probably gonna use that money just to buy drugs. It's not gonna help anybody. It's just a cycle that keeps continuing. It keeps rotating and rotating and rotating. When is an end gonna be put to it? When are they gonna realize that education is the key to success? Now I'm gonna finally bring my mother in so she could have put her 2 cents about the females in our generation.
Um, Guys, yes, that was my beautiful daughter. She is the fourth one. I am very proud of her, indeed. Of course, I mean, guys, we have to, do better with our life. We have to do things differently. Um, like my daughter said, if your parent went through some trials and tribulations, you don't have to repeat it. If you, of course, growing up or grow up without a dad, um, you have to think twice, two, three, time harder to say, I don't want that for my life. I don't want, um, when I have kids, I don't want that for my life. When I have kids, and I have to do better, and we have to support our mom, our single moms. We have to support our single moms. I mean, come on now. You messing up by the time you're like, what, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way to 18. And then you still 20, 25, 30, and you still messing up. And I know for sure, I know that 110% black mothers would always have their two arms open, willing to accept their kids, especially their boys, after they've been screwing up so many times, if they want to recuperate. So we have to do better. And as far as our girls, I mean, I was a statistic myself. I was a statistic. Yes. I was, in all kind of statistic, and all kind would find me in it, except for, you know, the hardcore crazy one. Because I was never like a hardcore crazy, you know, into drugs and stuff like that, gang, oh my God, prostituting. No, not them. But as far as, you know, having, you know, kids early, you know, having, you know, I was in the system. It takes me a while. I went to nursing school at the age of 20, late 20s. Okay. So, you know, I overcome a few things. So, you know, our young girls, we can do better. Our young girls, you don't have, I mean, right now, you know, you're worrying about bundles of hair for $500. As a matter of fact, you know, I don't even know how the females wear long nails. I've always been, you know, making little statement on my Facebook page in regards to long nails. I think that you can truly wear it as, you know, for an occasion, but I don't think that you should be wearing that 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I really feel like, you know, it's, as far as hygiene, it's not hygiene safe. But, you know, we're worrying about material stuff, and then a lot of the time they're not taking care of the kids, and the kids are, you know, getting caught up into the system, and, you know, and it's so much that mom, dad, grandma, great grandma, you know, they're raising their kids, and there's so much that they can do, you know, just for the sake of black people, for the sake of our melanin world. We need to tighten up. We need to tighten up. I mean, people make mistakes. People are gonna make mistakes. 1,000 years from now, people are gonna make mistakes. You know, things gonna happen. But it doesn't. I think that it's not the amount of mistake you've done. To me, I think, or maybe to society, I think it should really. You should have an autocritics, okay, an autocritics to self. You see, a self-examination. And, you know, there's a time you have to end it. You have to end it. There's a time for you to end it. And then, you know, we have so much abortion. You know, I mean, before a lot of the young women, before they reach the age of 19 and 20, they already have 3, 4, 5 abortion. Your cervix, what's going to happen? You will end up with cervical cancer, you know, because you cannot keep having, because your cervix is supposed to stay tight up all the time. Your cervix is supposed to open only when you're going to give birth, and it's slightly loosen up a little bit for blood and blood clot. Excuse my expression, but you know, like I told you guys, my YouTube is very mature. It's for mature audience. It's mainly you know, it loosen up a little bit just for some blood clot and blood to come out, because the uterus is sterile, you know. But you keep having these doctors keep sticking these things and then, you know, bringing infection and all of that. You know, we need to tighten up. We need you, black people. We need to tighten up. We need to tighten up. We need to get ourselves together. We need to, you know, have a self examinations, you know, from within, and, you know, so that our future can look brighter, you know, because we have so much obstacle. Don't think that the white folks are going to be silent, knowing that they have so much obstacle against them. They're dying due to so much obstacle. So don't think that, you know, they're not going to keep things in our community around us. I mean, do your research. You know, you're going to see the amount of things that they're putting in our community and what goes on in our community, so that they can keep us down. But anyway, thank you for watching. This was Kathleen Charles
and her daughter Lonica. And remember, starve to stack, and time is of the essence. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Where's my phone chime? And remember, black don't crack and die. Black don't crack and die. Black multiply. Black don't crack and die. Black don't crack and die. Black multiply. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great and wonderful time.